Once upon a time, in a tranquil village, nestled at the foot of the misty mountains, there lived a young man named Takumi. Known for his fiery temper, Takumi's anger flared up at the slightest provocation, causing turmoil in his relationships with friends, family, and even strangers. His heart was like a bubbling volcano ready to erupt at any moment, leaving destruction in its wake. Despite his strength and skills, his uncontrolled anger often left him feeling regretful and isolated. One fateful day, Takumi's anger reached its peak. While working in the village market, a simple misunderstanding with a merchant escalated into a heated argument. In a fit of rage, Takumi overturned the merchant's stall, scattering goods and causing a scene. The villagers, fearful of his wrath, watched in silence as Takumi stormed away, his heart pounding with a mix of fury and regret. Later that evening, Takumi sat alone by a river, his reflection in the water distorted by his inner turmoil. He felt the sting of shame, but also believed that his anger was a necessary tool to express himself and change situations that seemed unjust. As he pondered his actions, an elderly monk with a serene expression and a gentle aura approached him. "Good evening, young man," the monk said, his voice as soothing as the river's flow. "I am Master Kensei. I couldn't help but notice your distress. What troubles you so deeply?" Takumi, hesitant at first, poured out his heart to the monk. He spoke of his uncontrollable anger, the havoc it wreaked in his life, and his belief that his anger was necessary to make others listen. Master Kensei listened patiently, his eyes filled with compassion. "Anger," Master Kensei began, "is like a hot coal you hold with the intent of throwing at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This is a teaching from Gautama Buddha. Anger is a destructive force that harms you more than anyone else." Master Kensei continued, "Let me tell you a story. There once lived a potter named Jiro, who was known far and wide for his beautiful creations. However, he had a terrible temper. One day, seeking to change his ways, he approached a wise sage for guidance. The sage gave him a peculiar task. Every time Jiro felt anger, he was to mold a piece of clay into a pot. Days turned into weeks, and Jiro created countless pots, each representing a moment of lost control. As Jiro's anger subsided, he looked at the rows of pots and saw the physical representation of his anger. The sage then asked Jiro to carefully remove the imperfections from each pot, symbolizing the effort to heal the wounds caused by his anger. Jiro realized that just as it took time to shape the clay, it took time to reshape his heart and mind. This realization helped Jiro understand the importance of mindfulness and patience. Takumi listened intently, imagining the rows of imperfect pots, each a testament to moments of lost control. Master Kensei then shared practical tips with Takumi. Transforming anger is a gradual process. Start by practicing mindfulness. When you feel anger rising, pause and take a deep breath. Observe your emotions without judgment. Understand that anger is temporary, like a passing cloud. Cultivate loving kindness, which is called metta, by wishing well for yourself and others, even those who trigger your anger. He paused, letting Takumi absorb the wisdom. Remember, silence in moments of anger can prevent harmful words and actions. Reflect on the consequences of your anger and choose a more constructive response. Master Kensei continued, "Let me share another story. There was a woman named Aya who struggled with intense anger. Seeking help, she visited a sage who gave her a simple but profound task. Every time she felt anger rising, she was to cup her hands over her mouth and remain silent for 10 minutes. After a week, Aya noticed a significant change. She realized that the act of staying silent allowed her anger to dissipate, preventing her from saying things she would later regret. Takumi felt a glimmer of hope. The monk's words resonated deeply with him. He thanked Master Kensei and decided to embark on a journey of self-improvement, determined to transform his anger into understanding and compassion. As he walked back to the village, Takumi felt a sense of calm he hadn't experienced in years. The first step on his path to inner peace had been taken, guided by the wisdom of Master Kensei. He resolved to practice mindfulness, loving kindness, and the art of silence, slowly but surely taming the fire within. The next morning, Takumi woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He remembered the monk's words and the parables of Jiro, the potter, and Aya with her silent reflection. Determined to change, Takumi began his day with a simple meditation, focusing on his breath and calming his mind. As days turned into weeks, Takumi diligently practiced mindfulness and self-awareness. He carried a small journal, noting down instances when he felt anger rising. By observing his triggers, he started to understand the underlying causes of his temper. One of the most common triggers was a sense of disrespect, which often stemmed from his own insecurities. One day, while working in the fields, Takumi's younger brother accidentally spilled water on the crops. The familiar heat of anger surged within Takumi, but he paused, took a deep breath, and chose to remain silent. Remembering Master Kensei's advice, he reflected on the situation. His brother did not intend to cause harm. It was merely an accident. Instead of lashing out, Takumi helped his brother fix the damage, fostering a moment of bonding rather than conflict. That evening, Takumi visited Master Kensei at the temple. "Master, I have been practicing mindfulness and silence. It is difficult, but I am beginning to see changes within myself." Master Kensei smiled warmly. "You are making progress, Takumi. Remember, anger is a teacher. It shows us where we need to grow and heal. By embracing it with compassion, you can transform it." Master Kensei continued, "Let me share another story with you. There once was a bamboo grove known for its resilience. During storms, the bamboo would bend with the wind, never breaking. It adapted to the forces around it, remaining rooted and strong. A young disciple asked the wise gardener of the grove, "How can the bamboo be so strong yet so flexible?" The gardener replied, "The bamboo teaches us the art of resilience and adaptability. It does not resist the wind, but bends gracefully. Anger is like the wind. It can be fierce and destructive, but if you remain flexible and rooted in mindfulness, you can withstand it without breaking." Takumi listened, imagining himself as the bamboo, learning to bend rather than break under the force of his emotions. Master Kensei added, "Continue practicing mindfulness. Each time you feel anger, pause and breathe deeply. Reflect on the impermanence of emotions. Remember that anger is temporary and can pass if not acted upon. Cultivate loving kindness by wishing well for yourself and others, and most importantly, forgive yourself and others. Holding on to anger only harms you." Master Kensei shared yet another parable. There was a village with a serene pond. The pond was so clear that it reflected the sky and the surrounding landscape perfectly. However, when disturbed, the reflections became distorted and unclear. The villagers learned to approach the pond with gentleness, understanding that a calm approach kept the reflections true. Anger is like disturbing the pond. It clouds our judgment and distorts reality. By approaching situations with calmness and mindfulness, we keep our reflections clear and true. Takumi nodded, understanding the deep lesson in the parable. He realized that his anger not only affected his actions, but also clouded his perception of reality. Takumi felt a deeper sense of calm and clarity. He thanked Master Kensei and left the temple with a renewed determination to continue his journey. Each day, he practiced the teachings diligently, observing his thoughts and emotions with a compassionate heart. As the months passed, Takumi's relationships began to improve. He found himself responding to situations with patience and understanding, rather than reacting with anger. His family noticed the change and felt a renewed sense of peace and harmony in their home. A year had passed since Takumi began his journey of transformation. The village that once feared his wrath now marveled at his serenity. Takumi had become a beacon of peace, guiding others with his newfound wisdom and compassion. One day, a severe storm hit the village, causing widespread damage. In the aftermath, tensions ran high as villagers struggled to rebuild. During this chaotic time, Takumi found himself in a heated misunderstanding with a fellow villager named Kenji. Kenji, overwhelmed by the stress of the storm's aftermath, angrily accused Takumi of not doing his fair share of the work. Anger bubbled up within Takumi, but he paused, took a deep breath, and remembered Master Kensei's teachings. Instead of responding with anger, Takumi remained calm and silent. He recalled the wisdom of the Buddha, who once said that if someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, the gift remains with the giver. Takumi smiled gently and asked, "Kenji, if you buy a gift for someone and that person does not take it, to whom does the gift belong?" Kenji, taken aback by the unexpected question, responded, "What a strange question, Takumi. Of course it would belong to me, because I bought the gift." "That is correct," Takumi said, "and it is exactly the same with your anger. If you become angry with me and I do not accept it, then the anger remains with you. You are the only one who becomes unhappy, not me. All you have done is hurt yourself." Kenji stood silent for a moment, reflecting on Takumi's words. The wisdom sank in, and he felt embarrassed about his outburst. "I'm sorry, Takumi, you're right. My anger was misplaced. Thank you for your patience." Feeling proud but also reflective, Takumi visited Master Kensei at the temple to share his experience. "Master, I was tested today, but your teachings helped me remain calm." Master Kensei smiled. "You have learned well, Takumi. Remember, the journey of transformation is ongoing. Continue practicing mindfulness, loving kindness, and forgiveness. Your inner peace will grow stronger each day." Master Kensei continued with one final parable. There once was a stonecutter named Hiro who envied the power and influence of others. He wished to become a powerful merchant, a ruler, and even the sun and the moon. Each time his wish was granted, but he found himself unsatisfied, always yearning for more. One day, as the sun, he saw a stone cutter chiseling away at a rock, creating magnificent sculptures. He realized that even as the sun, he was not as powerful as the humble stone cutter. He wished to be himself again, content with his life and the work of his hands. Takumi listened, understanding the deeper meaning. The stonecutter's strength lay in accepting and mastering his own life, rather than wishing for what he did not have. Master Kensei added, "Like Hiro, you must find contentment and strength within yourself. Continue to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Practice gratitude, focusing on the positive aspects of your life. Engage in daily meditation to strengthen your mindfulness. And always remember, anger is a choice. You have the power to transform it." Master Kensei shared one last story. There was a lantern that shone brightly in a small village. It illuminated the path for travelers, bringing them safety and comfort. However, if the lantern's flame grew too hot, it would burn out quickly, leaving the village in darkness. The lantern keeper learned to maintain the flame at a steady glow, ensuring it burned long and bright. Takumi smiled, understanding the lesson. "I must tend to my inner flame with care, ensuring it burns steady and bright, providing light and warmth to those around me." Takumi bowed deeply to Master Kensei, filled with gratitude. As he walked back to the village, he felt a profound sense of peace. The lessons he had learned transformed not only his life, but also the lives of those around him. Takumi's relationships flourished, and the village thrived in an atmosphere of harmony and understanding. As the seasons changed, Takumi continued to grow, always learning and teaching. His life became a living parable, a story of transformation that would be told in the village for generations to come. The lantern of his spirit burned bright and steady, guiding others with its gentle light. And thus, the village at the foot of the mist-shrouded mountains became a haven of peace with Takumi's wisdom, echoing in the hearts of all who lived there. Anger is a powerful emotion that can cloud our judgment and lead to actions we later regret. In Buddhism, anger is seen as one of the three poisons that cloud our minds and prevent us from seeing the true nature of reality. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our anger without getting swept up in it, allowing us to respond with wisdom rather than react with emotion. One insightful teaching from Buddhism is that anger often arises from unmet expectations and a sense of self-importance. When we learn to let go of our ego and accept the impermanent nature of all things, we can reduce the frequency and intensity of our anger. Cultivating compassion and empathy towards others also helps us to understand their perspectives and reduce conflicts. In addition, regular meditation practices can help calm the mind and create a space where anger can be transformed into understanding. Techniques such as metta, loving kindness meditation, encourage us to send goodwill and love to ourselves and others, which can soften our hearts and diminish anger over time. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more tales of wisdom and personal growth, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We would love to be a small part of your journey to inner peace and enlightenment. Lastly, we will leave you with one question. What if the next time you felt anger rising, you viewed it as a teacher rather than an enemy? How might this shift in perspective transform your understanding of yourself and lead to deeper personal growth?